We don't even know why they're running away. Do you have proof that these people were hurt or assaulted? I don't have proof. Then don't ask me for something you don't have proof for.
Other people's identities who are South Africans, even people who are dead, that's how cruel they are. And that's the extent that they go to get South African documents.
Greeting a German woman and giving her nice things and flowers and all of that, and then saying that you are now no longer German, you are South African. You are welcomed.
In this country, if anyone wants to point a finger at someone who must take responsibility, start with those who allowed illegal immigration in the first place. Yeah. It's the book of the law, the same law you are saying that you're scared we're going to be breaking. If everyone is sitting in a press conference like this, calling all these companies that we see hiring people and not following due process.
Those guys are liquid, right? They're liquid. There's more money circulating there.
So JACINTA, the leader of March and March movement, they held a press conference and they were calling out their government and also Africans for the things that we have been saying about them and what they want to do and what they expect the government of South Africa to also do. There are actually a lot of things that they said in that particular press conference, but there are key things that I am bringing to you because the video is like over 2 hours, but I'm bringing you key things in what they said and also other videos that she has shared. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. You don't lose anything by liking, just give the video a thumbs up, comment whatever you think, share and subscribe.
Complaining about this for years. And you're asking what happens if things go wrong. And I'm listening, I've been listening to the language all this time. Everyone, are you going to take responsibility? Are you going to take responsibility? Can I ask, whose responsibility is it to protect the country? Is it us? It's definitely not our responsibility. You can't place that on us. If the government is going to be spending 600 million, then they must work for it. Yeah. They must show us that they can be able to protect the country. We can't be crying every day over our borders being porous and them failing to protect us as the citizens. And when we decide we want to stand up against them, suddenly everyone has a voice about how we must take responsibility. Who takes responsibility for all those children who are out on the streets smoking drugs? Who takes responsibility for all those things coming in our borders? Who takes responsibility for all the human trafficking that's happening? Putting South Africans first. We don't want a situation where we have to beg and grovel for jobs that the law of the country already says you are not allowed to hire a foreign national unless you've proven that a South African is not qualified. But what we've noted is people are making us feel bad for wanting these very laws to be enforced. It's the law that says that. It's not South Africans that woke up in the morning and said, hey, Wits University or whatever university, hire South Africans. You can't be having lecturers that are only foreign nationals because one foreign national came and then started hiring other ones. Yeah. That's not what the law says. So if people are busy glorifying much and much sticking to the law, why are they not sticking to the law? I mean, institutions of higher learning themselves are breaking the law. But nobody's screaming and shouting at the rooftop, calling them vigilantes for breaking the laws. It's only us who are breaking the laws in this country. Business people are hiring foreign nationals without even following due process. Nobody's calling it vigilantism. When people in their homes are gathering nannies who must sleep at 10 o'clock at night because they must clean all day, it's fine. But the minute we call that out, then we are the ones that are vigilantes. I think the vigilantism starts with the people who are breaking the laws and aiding and abetting illegal immigrants in the country. And then in terms of the Muslim business owners, personally, I don't think there's any preference to any business owners. Business owners must all be treated the same, whether Muslim, whether pink, orange, green, purple. For us, it's irrelevant. As long as a business owner is abiding by the laws of the country, they need to follow the laws thoroughly. We met with other companies like Takealot, Uber, and we reminded them of their responsibility to the country. Checker 66, we've also reminded them, even though they didn't show up to the meeting. But we still said to them, you can't be hiring foreign nationals. It's not us as much and much that are saying it. It's the book of the law. The same law you are saying that you're scared we're going to be breaking. If everyone is sitting in a press conference like this, calling all these companies that we see hiring people and not following due process, I think the country would function a lot better. Because now everyone is reacting to March and March reacting to criminality that's done by people who have positioned themselves as the voice or those that are better than us just because they've got money. Just because a business person has money doesn't give them a right to break the laws of the country. All of us must abide by the laws of the country. In this country, if anyone wants to point a finger at someone who must take responsibility, start with those who allowed illegal immigration in the first place. Yeah. Those are the ones who must take responsibility for anything that happens on the 30th. Don't point the finger on us. We've done our due diligence. We've put our head on the block here. And everyone in the world is looking at us, calling us hateful things, swearing at us, and the government is acting as if this issue of illegal immigration is our problem. It's not our problem that there's illegal immigrants in the country. We didn't invite anyone. We certainly didn't want to feel unsafe in our own country. We certainly never envisioned there'd be a time where in our hospitals we don't have spaces and children in schools don't have spaces. So if there's anyone that must shoulder any blame for the 30th, it's the government. But on our part, we are saying, for what we can take and what we can do to ensure that no violence ensures, we'll do that. But we can't go over and above. We don't have 100 million rand here. Maybe if you gave us 600 million rand, you'll see the difference. So maybe give us that 600 million and we'll show you how to take care of a country. Where are you getting your money from? Israel. Guys, I don't even know anyone from Israel. I don't think we're asking for much. We're asking for secure borders. We're asking for more money to be spent on the Department of Home Affairs because obviously it seems to be an expenditure problem. We're asking for the BMA to work inland. Let me explain to you why. So currently, the BMA operates only at the border and just a few meters outside some borders. That's as far as they can go. But they don't come inland, right? Which means if I come into South Africa and I say, I'm coming to visit my cousin, Usizwe, somewhere in KZN, and I overstay my visit, I mean that's a BMA information. Home Affairs doesn't have that information. So what's the point? So I'm giving Home BMA information, but Home Affairs has the duty to deport me when I've overstayed. How does Home Affairs know I've overstayed my stay? That's exactly why we have a problem like this. On top of that, they're at the border. When you ask them, do they know currently where their refugees are? They don't. They don't know where their refugees are. They've got no idea where their refugees are. They say that they've got 167,000, I believe, around there. My figures might not be correct, but they're below 200,000 refugees that we have in the country, which is ridiculous, by the way, because the number of them is definitely not 100 and something thousand. But when you ask how many applications they're sitting at 1.2 million applications currently. So there's about roughly 800,000 so people who are in the country unaccounted for. And I'm just counting refugees. There's still asylum seekers as well, which brings their numbers to 200 and something thousand, right? We can't have a situation where there's so many people walking around the country, unknown, undetected. Nobody knows who they are, where they come from, what they're doing in the country, who are they staying with. This is a huge security risk for the country. And that's why we're rising as South Africans in numbers. We're saying we feel unsafe in our own country. On top of that, it's a battle for scarce resources. South Africa does not have unlimited resources. We cannot service everyone. And therefore we understand that people have problems in their countries. We understand poverty. Which is why when we say, go and fix your countries, it's not supposed to be an offense. It's meant to be as an encouragement to say, we as South Africans, as organizations, we've grouped ourselves together to fight with our government. Go and do the same. If you need us as South Africans to support you in whatever means possible, we'll do that while you're in your country. Is it possible that you guys paint the full picture? Please, we're not saying paint us as angels. We don't care what you call us. But paint the full picture. Go and tell those stories of South Africans who have been run out of the tuck shop business because Pakistanis and Somalians have told them they can't open tuck shops in their own country. Tell those stories of South African children who can't find spaces in schools. Tell those stories of women who are South African giving birth on the floor because they don't have space. Because Zimbabwe has terrible healthcare, and therefore everyone who wants to give birth comes to South Africa.
Yeah.
We want you guys to tell the full story. Don't tell a one-sided story. You are the ones that are going to cause a fight when there's no fight. Because someone who's in the country illegally shouldn't even be protected. They must know, I'm in the country illegally, therefore I must go. Why is it so painful to tell someone who's in the country illegally they must go? Why are NPOs getting worked up and NGOs getting worked up, Daily Maverick every day, and ground up articles every day about xenophobia in the country? Ask them to tell us about those children who are dying in spaza shops, not a single article. So it's us who must die.
Yeah.
It's fine when it's our children that are dying, it's okay. No media finds that problematic. You guys don't think it's a problem when we're watching Sizokuthola every Sunday and Nigerians are caught selling drugs every Sunday? That's not a story, it's not newsworthy. The only newsworthy thing is when a foreigner gets scratched. Oh, they scratched the foreigner. I don't think there's any preference to any business owners. Business owners must all be treated the same, whether Muslim, whether pink, orange, green, purple. For us, it's irrelevant. As long as a business owner is abiding by the laws of the country, they need to follow the laws thoroughly. We met with other companies like Takealot, Uber, and we reminded them of their responsibility to the country. Checkers 66, we've also reminded them, even though they didn't show up to the meeting. But we still said to them, you can't be hiring foreign nationals. It's not us as much that are saying it. It's the book of the law, the same law you are saying that you're scared we're going to be breaking. If everyone is sitting in a press conference like this, calling all these companies that we see hiring people and not following due process, I think the country would function a lot better. Because now everyone is reacting to much reacting to criminality that's done by people who have positioned themselves as the voice or those that are better than us just because they've got money. Just because a business person has money doesn't give them a right to break the laws of the country. All of us must abide by the laws of the country. Every single one of us. Whether you are rich, whether you are poor, whether you come from another country, whether you're South African, the laws of the country cannot keep being disrespected and disregarded just because people want to use other excuses. Oh, they are human beings. Oh, they are hungry. So I must also say the same about a criminal in Kwamashu. Yeah. When they leave their family hungry and they go hijack someone, oh, they are doing it for their family. We can all make an excuse for crime, guys. We can all make an excuse for crime. Aiding and abetting an illegal immigrant is breaking the laws of the country. It's written down in the law. So those same people mustn't come act fresh here with us just because we're standing up against something that's wrong. What we're doing here is standing up against the breaking of the laws in this country. And I don't know why that is called vigilantism. For the life of me, I don't understand. I really don't get it. I wish maybe they could explain to us. So they're the only ones that can break the laws, and life must just go on. But when we're trying to correct what they were doing, then we are vigilantes. And they're saying that we're breaking the laws for as long as I can remember. I don't know about, but I think I know about all these other. Every single one of us go to the police when we are going to do operations. Yeah. We have a right to do that. Yes. And then people come and stand in front of the camera. Nobody is allowed to ask someone for their ID. I get that. I totally get that. But what I keep saying is that the government created a problem. It's overwhelmed, it can't fix it. Yeah. You can't just have a blanket approach and say, nobody has a right to do immigration officers. You've only got 800 of them. Your police, the police, I don't know, I'm sure all of us can share a story of how the police don't even know the immigration laws of the country. Yeah.
We have, and that is not, even yesterday I went on your Instagram and I made a comment, because you are the same people that wrote on your Instagram page that we are South Africans are xenophobic. What do you see as xenophobic here? When South Africans are on the streets marching in their own country, what is xenophobic about that?
The xenophobic sentiment, as many people
don't tell me sentiments. Tell me what is xenophobic. Don't tell me about sentiments.
Is asking people to leave the country, who some of them are documented and without any fair verification.
When have we ever asked people who are documented to leave the country?
Well, many of these people are documented.
We don't even know why were running away. Do you have proof that these people were hurt or assaulted?
I don't have proof.
Then don't ask me about something you don't have proof for. Don't ask me that.
I wanted to ask you why you have come to this point
because
today.
you are here
What
to
is the
spread your
process?
propaganda.
Not at all
Continue
propaganda.
spreading
We
your
will
propaganda.
continue
Don't
to
ask
speak
me
to all
nonsense
sides.
here. You haven't spoken to us. Don't lie. You
Black South Africans, we think we're better than Nigerians because they don't have the infrastructure. Of course. But there's more dollar millionaires in Nigeria than in South Africa. Right? Same thing with Kenya. Same thing with Rwanda, Ghana. Those guys are liquid. Right? They're liquid. There's more money circulating there. We don't.
You South Africans, you are the people who's taken these people, you make them to occupy your business, you want money. So for that, if we find you are busy doing that, is you are harboring a illegal immigrant. And harboring illegal immigrants and employing illegal immigrants is a heavy fine. I was discussing yesterday, the Department of Home Affairs clearly indicated to me that one person is 10,000. So you must be warned.
For me, was when I read a tweet that said that God, may South Africa lose and even fail to score an offside in this particular continent. I realized this is not animosity, it's hatred. Because we have been projected that we just hate. We think we're superior and all of that. And then I saw Ngizwe Tunu greeting a German woman and giving her nice things and flowers and all of that. And then saying that you are now no longer German, you are South African. You are welcomed. And people equally said, wow. So whites are the people, even if they are Germans, you don't consider to be illegal immigrants. It's only Africans that you attack and terrorize. And I was taken aback, and other people were saying that Africans suffer from learned helplessness. That is in tweet, quote unquote, because of our oppression. And under apartheid, we believe that white people are superior. That's just practical things that have happened around us. Are we dealing with something that is far-fetched, not real? It is real, the issue of illegal immigration. We can go out now. I make this example. I was Minister of Police. There are buildings here in and around Johannesburg. They are occupied by people who've got no documentation. And if that person were to smash and grab your phone and anything else, you won't find them anywhere. They are undocumented. They are not in our system, no fingerprints, nothing. So they can be hired guns. But equally, there is a security question if you don't address the issue of illegal immigration properly. It's not about hatred. It's about the security and sovereignty of a country. And that's why when we went to exile, we were confined in camps in Angola. We were not allowed to settle anyhow, anywhere. We were given camps. We were given Somafco in Tanzania to settle there. We were not allowed to go in Tanzania and just settle anyhow. Governments of Nyerere, of Dos Santos, gave us designated land in the bushes.
Hi guys. So I just got a very interesting call from a journalist who told me that there is a place where they're chasing out all foreigners
and they don't want any foreign nationals, whether documented or undocumented, and what is my take on it. And this is my honest and sincere answer, right? Because we always get people saying, oh, you are fighting people even if they're documented or undocumented. So documenting a person who's not from that country to come to a particular country is done for a reason. And here's the reason. If I wake up this morning and I decide I want to go on holiday to France, and I need to let the French people know of my intention to come to France on holiday, and then the French will ask me in a questionnaire, how long are you staying? Where are you going to be staying? Do you have enough money to stay here? And then when it's time to go back, are you going to be able to afford to go back? They do that because they don't want to let me come on holiday and then eventually I do not leave their country. So this is a safety measure that they put in place to protect their country from people who are coming into France to stay permanently, whereas they do not have an intention of going on holiday, for example. Now, with South African law, there's actually the same thing or similar, where if I want to come to South Africa as a foreigner, I have to go through the application process. In fact, one of the things that I'm supposed to have when I come to South Africa is medical insurance. Now, medical insurance means that as a foreigner, if I get sick in this country, I am going to go and get treated in a private hospital in South Africa. Right. So the problem that we have in South Africa is the fine line between someone who's a foreigner and someone who's an illegal immigrant. So the word undocumented, they are using to gaslight us, trust. Because when they say undocumented, they are running away from the fact that there are people who are in this country illegally. And by illegally, we mean that they have broken the laws of this country to be in this country. For example, someone from Mozambique, Malawi, Zimbabwe, etc. comes into South Africa with a passport and they start working. And then that person says that they are documented, which is false, because a passport is a traveling document. It allows you only to travel into South Africa. You get a stamp, you stay for those days that they've given you, and you go back. Funny enough, that stamp is 60 days, not 60 days and go back and get a stamp and go back and get a stamp. That's not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to get a stamp and then in that period go back to your country. And you can't come back in, out, right? With different stamps. You send your stamps to the border to get stamped and come back and then decide it's a reason to stay in the country. That is also breaking the laws of the country. As much as Zimbabweans think that having a passport means that they are documented, because I know they are the loudest. You do not have a right to stay in South Africa and work and do all these things just because you've got a passport. Second to that, the fine line between foreigners and illegal immigrants in South Africa comes because there's foreigners who are documented but with fake documents, and we know this. A lot of them do not have the correct documents to be in the country. They're documented, but those documents are fake. Or they're using other people's identities who are South Africans, even people who are dead. That's how cruel they are. And that's the extent that they go to get South African documents. So those are the people who are still, you have broken the laws. You're still illegal, whether you've got a piece of paper or not. But now going back to what the community is saying, is something I said a long time ago, and I'm going to say it again, that when you have broken the laws of someone else's country, come in and stayed there, and forcefully integrated yourself into a community that was not given an option, whether they want you in that community or not, you are calling for problems. And this is the problem that the South African government needs to take responsibility for, because they are the ones who have created a system where they give people documents like refugee status or asylum seekers or ZDPs, and then these people go into the communities that South Africans do not even have a say in whether we want these people there or not. On top of that, it's not like they behave well. It's not like you come into those communities, you behave like a visitor. No, they want to take over, they want to be pompous, they want to be over the top, they want to be bossy, they want to take the jobs, they want to take the businesses, they want to, even everything that the community has. So it's bound to happen. I'm not saying it's correct, but it's bound to happen. Because at the end of the day, government cannot forcefully force South Africans to integrate with people that they did not ask to integrate with. It's the government that must take care of these asylum seekers and refugees and whatever. And if it's NPOs and NGOs that are fighting for them to stay in the country, then the government needs to transfer those people back into the hands of those NPOs and NGOs, not into the hands of South Africans. South Africans don't need to be integrating with foreigners, to be honest, by force. If we want to integrate with them, let us integrate by choice. Let us want to have a relationship with people who are well behaved in this country, who treat themselves like visitors, who know the laws, who respect the laws, who are clean. Don't force us to integrate with people that we did not ask to integrate with. If the government wants these people to integrate with them, take them to your houses. Take them to your communities. Why are you living in estates and all these fancy places and then forcefully send people to go live in communities by force that you don't live in? No, don't do that. I don't think it's a fair thing to say that the community is wrong if they're saying they don't want to integrate with so-called refugees and asylum seekers or foreigners who are there doing things that are ungodly. If the community is tired, the community is tired. There's nothing that and it's nice because they're not killing them, they're not burning them, they're just asking them nicely. We no longer need you in our community, please leave. And as a foreigner, you need to respect that and leave. Because you can't be going to complain to the rest of the world that people who rightfully own this place don't want you there. Because now you have a choice who you want in your house and who you don't want in your house. You don't get forced to live with your neighbor's children by force because the government says so. So I'm saying, foreigners, South Africans have expressed over and over again that they do not want you in their country, especially right now with all the problems that they're facing. And I'm talking specifically to foreigners who are in the country conducting themselves in a way that is not correct. People who didn't follow the due process to come into the country. People who are illegal immigrants living in the country in ways that are not part of our culture or our ways of living. South Africans are asking you nicely, kindly, please leave the country. Don't leave this neighborhood to go to another one. No. Prepare yourself to go back to your country. But many of them don't want to hear that. Instead, they want to say xenophobia. They want to swear South Africans. They want to... And I'm telling you again, as I've been telling you for a whole year, it's not going to help you in any ways. You can swear all day, every day. You can say, I win, thou, all you want. But you are not going to stay in a place where a person no longer wants you. It's that simple. Just go home, guys. And if you need to come back into the country, come back properly. Apply, etc., and come for scarce skills. You can't be coming to South Africa to sell tomatoes on the street or open a tuck shop, something South Africans could have been doing all along, or have been doing all along, because that is just you creating competition that is unfair. And I'm also going to address this issue, maybe later on today, or maybe in a few minutes, where you talk about the economy. Every time you talk about migration, you bring in the economy. Every time you talk about migration, you bring in the economy. Those are two separate things. Now, how do you think? And it's these people that always think that they are the biggest Africans over the rest of us.
You see, if we are all being honest, some of the things that Jacinta is saying, it makes sense. Because a government, you are saying on the 30th, you are going to use, let's say, 600 million rand to basically bring your police and like your security and your entire whatever out to guard these protesters. And at the same time, you are saying if something goes wrong, I think I understand the government in a certain way that if something goes wrong, they are going to be held responsible. But you are also spending money, you understand, to guard them. So you also need to make sure, you also have a responsibility as a government to make sure that things do not go bad. You understand? Talk to them, probably announce, say something. I know that there are certain press conferences that have actually been held also by the government and warning the protesters and all that. But I also think the government need to help in making this particular march and march peaceful. Because at the end of the day, if things go south, trust me, it is going to be very bad. So the security agencies also have a role to play because the government is basically spending money, taxpayers' money, to also do this. So I really agree. And this man talking about like the West African citizens, they are very liquid when it comes to money. That is very true. Listen, South Africans in general, you see, we are talking about South Africans like the ordinary South African. If you compare them to the ordinary citizens in West Africa like Ghana, Nigeria and all these countries, Charlie, these people forget that infrastructure wise, we are not up there like South Africa. But when it comes to the economy, we basically holding our economy and doing things in our own way, establishing businesses and having our own money. Bro, West Africa. So I don't want South Africans to just look at West Africans as they are coming into their country or whatever. Man, people get money. People have a lot of money, especially in West Africa. So I would say your country was built for you. It has been built for you. The economy is doing well because some white people are there also doing some big businesses and basically thriving, and it is helping the economy. Don't sit down and think if you people got the same chances or had your independence faster than some of us did, your country will be at the level it is now. No, it probably might have been worse than what we are even facing right now with our government. So please get that as a South African. Thank you so much for watching.